Hello again. Thank you. My name is Tiana Garner, and I will be hosting today's event, which is community and family engagement. Just want to thank you for joining us this evening. We're excited to be hosting tonight, and we're excited for you to be on the line to get some great information regarding community and family engagement. We have a very special guest joining us that will be taking over shortly. But first, I'm going to introduce myself again. So I'm Tiana Garner, and I am on the board, one of the board members for S.O.A.R. I am a HR director for S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel under our CEO and founder, Rosie McCamery. And we have a couple of our board members on the line right now who have joined in. So I don't know if anybody wants to come off mute and just say hello really quickly to our guest.
Hey everybody, J.R. Dawkins, board member for S.O.A.R. I oversee the business and entrepreneurship classes with my wife, Latoya Dawkins, and the official title, I don't remember, but Director of Technology and Business with S.O.A.R.
Hi, everyone. My name is Latoya Dawkins, and as my husband just mentioned, I serve alongside him with the Business and Entrepreneurship series. I am also one of the curriculum and instructional designers for S.O.A.R. Really excited to have you on today. Really excited about the great discussions that are going to come forth about community and family. Just really excited for you all to be here and to support our organization. Please continue to check out our website, keep up to date with what we're doing because we are soaring. Thank you again for joining us.
Good evening, good evening. This is Chef Andre Blasingame. I run the hospitality and travel cohort that we have during the summertime. I'm an entrepreneur. I own my own catering company here in Dallas, Texas, Heavenly Catering LLC. And excited for you to be here tonight. If you have any of your youth or anybody in ages grades 9 through 12 that is looking to get into hospitality, culinary, travel, and tourism, we've got an incredible program coming up this summer. And we currently have a business entrepreneurship that the Dawkins run that we have currently, and we'll be doing a fall session as well. So if you know any youth that want to get involved, man, check out the website. Let's Soar NJ.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, everyone, for introducing yourselves. I'm going to just, even though I believe most of us know who S.O.A.R is, I was hoping to share our video just to give you just a little bit more about us and what we do. In the absence of our CEO, she is probably going to be a little late. She is being honored right now at another event for her great work in the community. So we're really thankful and happy for her in this moment for her being recognized for all the work that she's doing and the connections and partnerships that she's already made since we've been together. So without further ado, I'm gonna run the video really quickly. If JR wouldn't mind, if you could run the video for me.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you. There's no.
If you're sharing your screen, you got to hit the share audio button also on Zoom. It may be under advanced. You see it in the bottom left corner. It should say like share computer audio when you hit share screen.
Hi, I'm Rosie McCamry, and I am the founder and CEO of S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel. As a nonprofit organization, our mission is to empower our youth to become future change agents, excelling in their academics while leading the charge in the fields of hospitality, tourism, business, and entrepreneurship. Simply put, our goal is to encourage our youth by improving their self-esteem, strengthening their leadership abilities and qualities, developing their business etiquette, fostering independent thinking, and creating opportunities that can transcend into any business or entrepreneurial career path desired. Our programs are designed to meet our scholars where they are. We offer impactful experiences through hands-on simulations and interactive engagement. Whether virtual or in person, our scholars are stimulated and encouraged to partake in innovative and forward-thinking dialogue. Our classes are taught by some of the nation's most experienced entrepreneurs, educators, and other subject matter experts in their respective fields. We foster an environment where respect, camaraderie, integrity, and excellence are not just terms, but practicing lifestyles. Our intent is to prepare our scholars not only for the now, but for the bright future that awaits them. Our community engagement arm is an extension of the work we do, where our mission is also to support underserved communities.
I do want to do this business in the near future, and I know that every single thing that I've learned so far, even with things not regarding my business, that is going to be needed. So thank you very much again.
This program made me a more well-rounded person and more confident. I had a lot of fun and I enjoyed meeting new people. Thank you.
The resources we provide and our work to expand our reach through external collaborations, sponsorships, and partnerships continue to evolve, helping to bring much-needed light to those in dark places. Understanding that it oftentimes takes a village, we realize that our obligation is to ensure that our villages are strong, thriving, and equipped to support our future change agents, and S.O.A.R is more than ready for the challenge. Interested in partnering with us? Or perhaps you'd like to sponsor one of our scholars? Well, there are endless opportunities for you to get involved. Visit us on our website at www.letsornj.org for more information, or contact us at info@letsornj.org. Help us pay it forward by planting the seed and watch our scholars' dreams come to life. Together, we accomplish more. Let's soar!
Bye.
All Right, so that is S.O.A.R, guys. That is what we do. We work with our youth and we are trying to empower them and help them to become change agents, making a difference in their life and their career goals, just helping them along in their path. Um, our CEO is very passionate, along with our board. We're very passionate about the youth and we have a heart for them. We want them to succeed. And so, you know, we often partner with other people, to other organizations, and to provide resources and things for them so they can continue to strive. And also with our parents, we want to say thank you to our parents because they have allowed us to work with their youth, work with their scholars, and help them to grow. And it's all, as the video said, it's all a village, right? It takes a village. So we are the village that's coming together to help our children along. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and now introduce our speaker for today, Derry Rodriguez. She wears many hats. She's a advisor and consulting. She's a community outreach advocate. She's a project management and public relations representative. She works with families and communities as a specialist. She's a strategic partner and fundraising expert. And she also works as a senior project manager for the New York City Department of Education. She is highly experienced with family engagement for over 10 years in education and community development. Her expertise lies in creating and implementing programs that support family engagement, parental involvement, and student success. Currently, Derry serves as an advisor and project manager at the New York City Department of Education, where she works closely with parents, teachers, and community partners to build a sense of community within the district. Derry's innovative programs and initiatives have been instrumental in promoting family engagement and improving student outcomes. In addition to her work in education, she is a consultant, and co-founder of 2 youth organizations, as well as a frequent speaker at workshops and conferences on topics related to family engagement, parental involvement, and community building. Her expertise and insights have been shared with a wide range of audiences at national conferences. There is also a board of director of the Omega Phi Beta Foundation, which promotes STEM education and community development for women. She is deeply committed to equitable education, empowering family voice, and improving the lives of children and families through her work. Derry is known for her warm, approachable manner and her ability to connect with families from all backgrounds. So how could we not partner with this beautiful young woman who does so much for the community? So welcome, Derry Rodriguez, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm like, wow, I do wear a lot of hats. Thank you so much, Tiana, and all the board members that are here today. Thank you, parents, for being here. I am so excited to share, to have a conversation, because today is really about having a conversation and just thinking about the ways that you guys do your job. Like, you are your children's learning heroes. I mean, give yourself a hand, because I need for you to recognize that the work that you do, how you empower your children, and every day how you strive to make your children be the best that they can be and reach their goals. It starts at home. So give yourself a hand, because sometimes, right now, just say, I'm doing this, I'm good, right? So again, thank you, S.O.A.R. Thank you, Rosetta, my best friend. And again, this is an extended family for me to be here to share a little bit about family and community engagement, how we see the work, and how how family engagement has shifted in the last couple of years. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And let's see. Interesting. I have a lot of things going on here. So give me 1 second, guys. But in the meantime, I would love, I believe Tiana has a poll for all. So let's do a quick poll. And the first question in our poll.
JR, I'm sorry, if you could help me with that poll. Seem to be having some technical difficulties over here.
The poll is live now.
All right, can someone read the poll question? Because I love a good poll.
Let's see.
The first poll question is, please share if you have a child in pre-K, elementary school, K through 5th grade, middle school, 6th to 8th grade, or high school, 9th to 12th grade.
Okay, so I would like to learn a little bit about you all and some of your scholars that are in school. So in the chat or in the poll, please identify if you have any children in elementary or middle school, high school, or pre-K. So let us see that. I cannot see the poll. So I love when I see the when everyone is voting, but we'd love to see exactly a little bit about your children and then and knowing their background. So let's take a look here. I do not see the poll.
The second question is, what are the ways you're involving your child's school, PTA, or classroom volunteer, support the bake sale, other, none at all?
Great. So that was a sneak question from for the end, but that's okay because I actually, let's get right in. Let's just start diving in. Like when you think about parent involvement, what are some of the ways that you're currently involved in your children's education? So I cannot. Oh, here we go. Here's the poll. Okay, so I see that the first poll, we have 67%. Shared in the chat that you do have a child. Am I correct, in K through 5th grade?
Yeah, pretty much in any of them. You have a child in school right now.
So we have a little bit of mix of everybody. Awesome. So that's okay. We're gonna just dive in and just talk a little bit about what does that look like when we talk about family, community, engagement, and education. So with that, I would love to share, now that we said this, I meant to ask you guys, because the first thing I always do in a Zoom conversation is ask you how you're feeling. So in here, we have a lot of different emotions that are happening. And then what I'm going to go back, I'm going to look at the poll. But for right now, I would love to ask you all, because let's do a temperature check. I want to see, because sometimes, we don't get to act like how you doing is so powerful when somebody asks me, how am I doing? So how are you guys doing? In the chat, let me know if you're sad, happy, you're feeling anxiety, there's a lot of stuff going on in your mind. Let me hear your thoughts in the chat, or if so let's see what's happening in the chat. And for some reason I do not see the chat.
I can read it for you, Derry. Right now, someone's feeling calm. Andre's feeling calm.
Andre, you're feeling calm, and I love that. So you're feeling calm. Someone, JR's feeling okay. Someone else is feeling excited, and that's Adrian, I believe. Yes. What else? How else you guys are feeling? I'm okay. And these are like really important questions, because when we're thinking about our children, I think I saw my sister on the line. She's always mentioning the zones of regulations. How are you feeling? And sometimes asking your child that the simple question of how are you doing? How are you feeling? Because children come to school with a lot of different feelings, and even ourselves. So always I'm acknowledging that this is the space to say that we are acknowledging you today, and that I recognize and I give you the space to be yourself. And then today we're going to have a really great conversation. I see my sister said, what zone are you? Shout out to school counselor. She's in the house. So we're going to be talking about education and how that relates to a team. So with that, now that we discuss our feelings, I think that's really important. I want to know that I want to recognize how you're feeling. We're going to talk a bit about myself, because I think that one of the things is that when we're talking about family engagement is also acknowledging our culture. And I want to share my story. Why am I so passionate about family engagement? Why is this so important to me and the work that I'm doing? Because I'm really out there trying to ensure that every parent knows that their voice is so critical in their children's education. So I started a little bit about me. I have my twin sister on the line. So she's like, it's so funny. If you guys are looking at the picture, I can't even tell which one is me. I wish I knew. I think I am in the right side, but but this is my family. I always like to share a little bit about my family. Both my parents come from the Dominican Republic, so I'm first generation. So both my parents are from the Dominican Republic. They come from small, we call it the campo. They come from the country where they were, especially my dad, when he was little, he was out there, he was a farmer. My mom was also raised in the campo, but went to school in the city. So her parents, my great parents, really emphasized that the education, like she had to actually go miles away to actually experience school, not in the country, but in the city. And then there's me and my twin sister. We were the first. So I am actually the oldest by 3 minutes, but it feels like 3 years. Wow. And we are the first in our families. We started our school. When I started my education journey, I was actually recognized as an English language learner because my first language was Spanish. So at home, we, in my house, we always we spoke Spanish. But then in school, it was emphasized that I needed to learn English. So for some, I don't remember the journey, but somewhere in the beginning of my journey, I lost my first language, which was Spanish. And me and my sisters and my siblings, we had to confirm, like they had to transform us to be American. Like our culture was not seen. And I mention this because culture is beautiful. In the chat, let me know where you're coming from, if you're first generation, and share in the story your chat and the food that reminds you of home. For me, sancocho was the flavor, the smell. The sancocho reminded me that I was going to be a party night, and that was going to be like something that we were celebrating. The mango, I think my best friend Chastity's on the line. I remember that door, like rice and beans and chicken. Those are the things that I like in my home. We celebrated. It was awesome, and it was our routine. Especially, I see if you guys see the in the bottom left-hand side is our music, is our culture, is our richness, is our dance. So all those things that made me and my household, and we celebrated, was amazing. But in our school, when I was going to school, it created a barrier. My English was not the language that my parents spoke. So with that, their expectation was more, I made it here, and my children is going to get the education that I didn't get. So I don't need to be involved. So I started my education journey, again, losing my culture, forgetting my Spanish, man, because I wish I'm Spanglish right now. I can speak Spanish, but it's very broken. But what I felt was alone, that I felt that there was my family that speaks Spanish, and then me at school that I spoke English. And then when I grew up, when I became an adult, even visiting the Dominican Republic, they call me gringa. So I wasn't recognized of who I am. All that to say is that my family did not feel that they were able to come into my school because of their barriers, whether it was not speaking English. English was not their first language, their education background, where they felt like, I don't have the education background, or just whatever that barrier feels. A lot of families feel this way. They feel that I cannot be a part of my children's education because of either the poverty level, English English is not the first language spoken, and an immigrant. But the research shows us that family engagement is critical to a children's education. So let me check out the chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. And I also, again, this is a conversation, this is a chat, so feel free to unmute. I actually want to hear from our JR. JR, you mentioned oxtail. Come on, JR, let me know a little bit about your family.
So I was born in Jamaica, West Indies. But I did move here on the younger side still, kindergarten. But both my parents are West Indian, and similar to you, in terms of having to switch languages. It's like I couldn't go to school speaking full patois. So when I spent time in Jamaica and came back, I had to go through that period of kind of dropping that off. But culture wise, I was fortunate enough to have a pretty diverse school and block. So like, as far as I can remember, it's like the people that were American in a sense were the minority in one of my schools. It was like we were all from somewhere, India, Philippines, Africa, some other place other than America. But yeah, similar food, you know, was a very big central part. I was just talking to my wife about how I remember, you know, being on my grandmother's house in Jamaica, and there's a chicken coop. Like we would go into the coop and get eggs from the coop. We would chase down a chicken for dinner sometimes. So life was very different back in Jamaica, and transitioning here, you know, there was that, you know, kind of leave aside culture and transition here to like fast forward, like at first I hated McDonald's because it wasn't like yam and plantains and rice. I was like, what the heck is this? To high school, I'm like, we eat McDonald's for breakfast and lunch every day. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, the transition.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know Tiana and I had a conversation yesterday because one of the things I felt as I was transitioning here, I felt alone in my education journey, and that as when we're going to dive deep a little bit in why that felt as someone, you know, I was one way at home, but a different way at school. And when I was in school, it felt very lonely because my parents were not a part of my education journey. I was struggling, but I was scared to tell my parents that I was struggling, and my parents didn't know how to advocate for myself and for my siblings, my sister. We were struggling in a way where they were actually telling my parents, because of my first language, Spanish, that I belonged in special education. Back then, special education, like if you were considered an L student, they will put you in special education. But advocacy is so important, because when you know how to advocate for your child, when you're getting these recommendations for families, when you're getting these recommendations from teachers and administrators, you have to kind of guess those, like, is that the real true story? So I know that JR kicked us off in sharing his favorite tradition, or even talking a little bit about Jamaica, which I love me some plantains and jerk chicken. But those are the richness of our culture that we lose, and culturally responsive education, and making sure that parents, like when you're there, you're saying that your culture is equally important. So your children feels proud of their culture when they're in school. So having those conversations about where, you know, like if you're first generation, where you're coming from, and sharing the stories of your past, those are good storytelling. Does anybody want to share another favorite tradition or an activity growing up in your family? Or something that you're doing now with your children? You have any volunteers? I think everybody's hungry. So what we're gonna do, because I think JR, we talked a little bit about tradition. I shared my tradition. We're gonna just we're just gonna go right into what is family engagement. So in the chat, I promise you, you're not going to get a failing grade. Everyone that's sharing, this is just a sharing, we're gonna chat, but I would love anyone that's brave to unmute themselves and just share, what do you think family engagement, what is family engagement education? What do you think that is? Kind of give you some hints in the beginning, but what do you think, in the chat, share one word that describes family engagement and education. One word. Let's see those chats.
Communication.
Communication? Yes. What else? One word that describes family engagement.
Connection.
Connection. Love it. Anything else? So we got connection. So in the chat, we're going to continue. Oh, I hear a voice.
Collaboration.
Collaboration. I love that. Anything else? We'll do one more. So everybody got an A, guys. Tap, like, come on, come on, come on. Just give yourself one of these. I forgot what you call that. Pat yourself in the back. You did a good job. You go, okay, guys, get an A. Family engagement, it's a combination of everything. When we talk about what is family engagement education, it's really a partnership, an authentic partnerships between parents and school, that homeschool connection. And it's really about engaging your child's education. I know in the poll, we did the poll, but in the chat, how many of you all are, when you think about the way parent engagement is now in your school, how is the structure now that you currently know what parent engagement looks like? Let me see that in the chat. Or unmute yourself. When you think about parent engagement, what is one thing that you guys think about? Involvement in the school.
I think of, parent being involved in everything that their child is doing, staying connected with teachers and, making sure that their child's education is, they're getting a good education, or if they have any problems, talking to someone, a counselor who can help, staying on top of things.
And you're giving all the good recipes. That's great. I want someone to tell me right now, when you think about parent engagement at the school level, when you're engaging at the school level, what is one thing that pops in your head, like mine?
Just showing up for your child, wanting to have those conversations with teachers, with administrators, on behalf of your child, or just to find out whatever you need to know to make things better for your child as a parent.
I love that. Who said that? Because I want to give you, like, say your name. Great job. Like, everyone, you guys are really, again, you are the experts in the room. And this is just a conversation because we're going to learn something from each other. Absolutely. And JR also put in the chat, having an open line of communication with our teachers, advocating for your child. Absolutely. I also want to just raise that sometimes a lot of our families, they think that family engagement is only the PTA, going to a PTA meeting or being a part of a big sale. Okay, there's a parent event, let me connect. But family engagement is exactly everything you guys mentioned. It's not about a certain day or one-off. It's actually an everyday, how are we building authentic partnership? So I guys want to show you a video really quickly. And also just, I'm going to keep saying partnerships, relationships, because that, if you don't get anything else today, it's about that. It's how are we building authentic relationship from that home and school connection? Because when the families are all working, the home, school, and the community works together, the child feels whole. And that's what the research shows. But here's a quick video on one of my favorite videos, actually. It's from WNET. And you guys can hear this?
Hi, I'm James and my wife, Kim.
Can you guys hear the video?
Yes.
Perfect.
The most important part of my life is being there with my kids. I know as a father that learning starts at home. Let's switch into juice. Hey, is that how we get grape juice?
Yeah.
It is very important for me to be there for my child's education. So I like to communicate with my child's teachers to let them know that, hey, we're a team. Hey, Miss David, how are you? And I want to be involved. I like to connect with my kids' teachers the first week of school, but it's never too late to do so. When I communicate with my kids' teachers, I also keep in mind that they're very busy. So I keep the messages very short and sweet. And I like to ask them, what is it that my kids are learning this year? What are the expectations? How do we know that they're actually achieving what you need them to achieve? What can I do to help my child? The goal for my child is to learn. And together with the teacher, I know we can fulfill that. Sometimes we need to practice their words or their numbers, especially multiplication. So we'll take it to the rooftop and we'll grab some chalk and we'll draw out the numbers. It's a cool way to reinforce the lessons that the kids have in school and have some fun with your child. I like to check in every couple weeks.
Because you moved up 2 reading levels this time.
Nice. Or whenever I see that my child is not learning what I think he's supposed to learn for that week. I also know that it's impossible for me to know all the answers. By building a solid relationship with the teacher, my child knows that I care, and so does the teacher. And that's a win for all of us. Perfect job. Give me 5.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. So let's talk about this because this is called Let's Chat. What are some of the things you heard in the video that resonated with you? And what is your reaction? So let's get some reactions. I'm going to stop sharing really quickly just to hear your reaction. And I would love to see faces. So if you guys are there, let me see your face if you want to. But we're going to chat about this. Like, what are some of the things that you guys seen in the video?
The parents' involvement was unmatched. I have yet to witness that, but that was great.
Okay. What else?
I guess for me, I know my wife is a educator formally with her undergrad and work and everything. So there's certain things I feel like we had a cheat sheet since it's what she went to school for. But yeah, we've always been pretty much involved in making sure that we're continuing the education at home and reinforcing the areas. So definitely aligned with that.
Great. Love it. Keep it going, guys, as we're chatting here. So I'm hearing that through your experience, your expertise, it's, you were able to support learning at home, but share something else. I see some more faces. Absolutely love your faces. Come on.
Hello. As an educator myself, I try to do kind of like what JR and Latoya does, like do, and they follow through. I'm constantly checking in with my daughter's progress. I have access to her assignments. If I have access, we have a real-time parent portal at the school where parents have the ability to check on their kids, to check on any correspondences, any type of events that are coming up, and just to see how she's progressing with her grades. At any point I can check in. And so then I just make it a point to do that every week. I make it a point to have them to send me weekly summaries of her progress. If she's missing anything for that week, then over the weekend, she has to get it done. Like just being in contact with the assistant principal, being in contact with the principal. I spoke with the principal Friday when I saw something on the portal, and she got back to me today. So I'm in constant, I make myself available. Like, I mean, most people probably don't think like this, but like, if I'm at work and my child needs me, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I have to be there for my child because I know that is most important, because she needs that. And I need, as a parent, to have that peace of mind, knowing that I did everything I could to enhance her education.
Wow, you gave us some jewels. Yes, you said something that was really key. You're constantly in that communication. So when we're talking about family engagement is a two-way communication. It's just not one way, right? It's 2 ways. So you're constantly, you know how to communicate with the teacher. You know that there's a parent portal. You understand you're part of the learning experience, because you know when you log into that portal, you see exactly where your child is at. So great. Thank you for those things. And that is pretty much those things that really matter, because again, we're trying to reimagine what true family engagement is. And that's really authentic partnerships with the home and school. How are you building that relationships that you both, the teacher and the families, because you know your children better than anybody, right? Everyone has high expectations for the kids. What happens when you don't know and you just like you're not involved? Your child is alone in their education, and what happens many times is that the parent feels like they're at grade reading level or at math level, but the reality is that the research is showing us that that's not accurate. But thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else want to share? Because this is a conversation. You guys are your children's learning hero. you know your child's weaknesses and your strengths, and you also have strategies on how are you supporting learning at home. So anybody wants to share anything else that you saw from the video, or maybe a tip that you can share with us on how you supporting learning at home or building partnership?
I'd
Well,
say the pandemic. Sorry, go ahead, Dre.
When I did have kids in school, one thing that I used to, I've been fortunate. I'm a semi-empty nester. All my kids have grown and graduated. But what I used to do, all through the years with all my children, once a week, I'd take a day off work and I would go have lunch because I have 5 children, so it required an entire day, right? So, I would go and sit in each one of their classes that they may have been struggling with, just to see the teaching style, because sometimes, teachers may not recognize that a student learns differently because we all have different styles of learning. And sometimes, in the public school system, they teach everybody the same and then they grade them on the same curve, but you have kids that learn differently. And I had a couple of kids that learned differently. So I would go sit in the classes, at least once a week and spend the time with each one of the kids, get to know the teachers, get to know their learning styles. So when they came home to do their homework, I would, pivot to because I had one kid that was a visual learner, one that needed to write it down, one that was an audible learner. And so instead of putting all of it back on the teacher and saying, hey, you've got to teach my kid audibly, they don't do well with writing or test taking, I would actually take that approach at home.
Wow.
So that was one thing that I did there, their entire, because they were all so different. So it was like there was no cookie cutter approach to all of them.
Oh my God, thank you so much for sharing that. And what I love about your story is that you went to the classroom and you were there as a volunteer and you help others to in their education. You saw, but the reason why I mentioned that you were there is that research is also showing that male engagement is low because male, like dads or caregivers that are male, they feel they're being not welcome. Like we always hear the mom approach. Like when you go, there's a story that my coworker shares all the time, he shares when he goes to the school and picks up the child, they always have to check the blue card. But when his wife shows up, they never check it, so there is a stigma around male engagement that, that is the stereotype is that male engagement is not important, which is not true. It's not true. Male engagement the data is showing that when students see males in the building, especially caregivers, that improves test scores, improves attendance. So there's all these positive indicators. And that's what parent engagement is also about. Like there's a lot of positive indicators with that teacher's relationship where high test scores, and I'm gonna quickly share my screen again so I can show you guys what does that look like. And keep going. I love these stories. So family engagement, we kind of like already defined it, and you all are correct. It all refers to the process of involving families in their child's education, which thank you so much for all the examples, and overall the well-being of a child. So the community and the families, when we talk about community engagement, is how the community is feeding the overall like whether the academic or the social and emotional, the enrichment, the community, and even yourselves, like how are we together as a family supporting and pouring in to our children's education. So it's an effort between educators, between families, between community members. I know some of us are, our faith is crucial. So it's like the faith base, your community, everyone is a holistic approach to supporting the learning and development of a child. So no child feels they're alone in their education. Now, I did see in the chat, which I have to address, I saw in the chat that I wish that all families want to be involved. So again, the research shows us that every family, no matter your income, no matter your race, no matter where you're coming from, they want the best for their children. But there are barriers. There are barriers. There's a trigger, like in the school, like, oh my God, I had such a bad experience. And then you have families that are really struggling for themselves, that there's so many different levels, but the community is so important, because I know for my mom and dad, their first language again was Spanish. So my community, my neighbors were the ones that, you know, offer that space where they were teaching us our ABCs, our 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, I remember macaroni and cheese. The craft box, nah, I didn't like that. It was still kind of a triggering memory. But our neighbors, our community it's so important together to support that children's learning. So go to the next slide. And we mentioned this, that's the feeling of the loneliness when you don't have a holistic approach. When families and the school and the community, they work separately, oftentimes that child feels alone. Together, everyone achieves more. Team. It's about a teams. Like, how do we change? How do we create a culture of trust and teamwork? And who's on your team in the chat? Let me know who's on your team, who's on this dream team to support your children's education. And then we mentioned this, so I will mention again, everything that we talk about when it's improving those education. So I think I do have another video, which I have to show. Is one of my favorite shows, but this is sort of the feeling. Again, teachers are sometimes, as much as our educators, and we have some educators here, we're learning that educators, their focus is on the relationship with the student. But when the parents, a lot of educators don't know how to communicate with our parents. You believe that, guys? So here's a funny video. I think that we have time. It's really quickly.
Thank you.
But
Can we talk now, please?
We could, but there isn't much more to say other than you need to talk to the parent.
Look, I understand. There just has to be another way to do this other than awkwardly talking to the parent first thing in the morning.
Well, try it this way. You could talk to your student's parent right now.
Hold on. Did you call her?
I did not. But when you said it was Joel, I remembered that his mother comes here every 2 weeks to get her nails done, just like I do.
Hey, Mrs. Howard.
Hello, Amber.
Aren't you my son's teacher?
Yes.
Getting your nails done. Word.
I'm gonna give you something bold, something that starts a conversation.
So, Amber. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we met already, but nice to meet you too.
So, your son Joel, you've been bringing him to school at 9. School starts at 8. Is there a reason for this?
Well, nosy. I start my shift at my job at 9:30. So it's easy for me to drop him off before that and go straight to work instead of going home or whatever.
Right.
Can I get some rhinestones that say I'm not afraid of awkward interactions?
Literally or metaphorically? Because I can do that design, it'll just be $50 extra.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Amber. Your son needs to be at school at 8. He's missing a lot of vital learning.
Word? I thought y'all just be playing with blocks and stuff.
No, this isn't daycare. By the time he comes in, we're already working on primary reading and math. He's always struggling to keep up.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would hate them to fall behind and have to retake the grade. Now, I don't want that, but that's as much up to you as it is up to me.
I get you. I don't want him to fall behind. He's a smart kid.
Very.
Okay. I'll bring him at 8 from now on.
okay, let's talk about this. Now I want to stop my screen and I want to talk to the educators in the room, because I've seen that there's a lot of educators here, and I want to just, what did you guys see from this video? What was one of the things that stuck out to you? So my educators, what do you guys think about this point?
Well, he was anticipating a negative response, and he actually got a more positive response than he expected. And as an educator, I've seen when you think negative, you usually can get negative, opposed to just being as positive as you possibly can in every situation and every interaction with a parent. And it almost always works out.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? I love that. Anyone else wants to share a little bit of what, their thoughts about what they saw in this video?
I'd say when it's about the child, and as long as usually, parents they're going to make the adjustments needed to ensure that their child is getting the best opportunity. And in addition to him anticipating a negative, it was also a lack of, I guess, full understanding for her. She's like, oh, I thought he was just playing with blocks at this time, right? So it could be sometimes those situations where like, oh, this is not that important, right? But then the teacher kind of validated, like, no, this is important, and here's why, here's what's being missed. So that was also really good to fill in the gaps.
Thank you, JR. Exactly. So I will stop there. I get you guys are absolutely correct. When it's a two-way conversation, when parents understand, and then the assumption he already came in, this parent doesn't want to be involved. This parent doesn't care, right? And we hear it all the time. And I think my sister's on the line, she's a school counselor. We hear it all the time. But what we know is that everyone wants the best for their children. It's just that there's different pathways for a lot of our most our special populations of families that need a little bit more of how do we remove their barrier, because maybe that parent felt, she's like, I know you, we talked. And I was like, oh, okay, but there was no relationship built. If they had that relationship and again, they had a conversation about, I understand, like they actually had a dialogue about understanding that, like her child, and then he's like, but your child is not making it and your child's gonna fail. It's like, oh wait. So it was a different mind shift. And now it was like, now we're working together. So again, it's building those authentic partnerships and really working together with the school administrator to support that learning at home. Okay, guys, I hope any questions. I don't want to speed it up. I just want to make sure that we're good. Thumbs up if you're feeling great about this presentation and you're feeling like you're getting these tips from each other, because I'm learning from you guys as well.
Derry, can I chime in on what you guys are talking about?
Yes, please. Yeah.
I just wanted to, I know you asked that question. I just wanted to also add, we can't assume that parents know, right? We can't assume that they know what's going on in the classroom or even the role that you play in the school. I'm a speech pathologist at my school, and my eyes are open to that, because even the idea of our roles in the school, I had parents tell me, that's your job, right? And so it's important to have that conversation so you can remind them, like you were saying, Derry, we both have a role to play here. And sometimes if you don't reach out and communicate that, they are trusting you with their children all day. So they're like, this is your job, here you go, not knowing that they also can play a role in what's happening in the school building. So we can't assume that they know. Let's just make that, like you're saying, communication is so important. And let's make sure we reach out. And so we're all on the same page about expectations and the different roles we both can play in the child's education.
Thank you, Chastity. Yes. And again, for our educators, we have to ensure that we're changing our mindset, the way we're looking at parents. We cannot assume that parents do not want to be involved. We just have to have a communication. In the beginning, when the schools are starting, sometimes we wait till parent-teacher conference, but having those initial conversations and like, tell me a little bit about how we started earlier in the chat. When we started the conversation about our culture, right? You can have those conversations with your child's, with your students, parents. Like, tell me a little bit about your children. Tell me a little bit about your culture. you're validating, you're making it, you're inviting that parent, you're building that relationship versus let me tell you about how your child is not doing. Let me tell you about that attendance that needs to be improved, right? So giving those positive feedback and building that relationship is so critical. So I wanted to point that out today because I know I wanted to make sure that I talk to our parents, but also our educators and also our community members that are really supporting families. I know my sister is also here, like, everyone in the building, school building, is really critical to that child's education, social and emotional side, and also their education journey. So I'm going to go back to the presentation. We're almost at the end, which is sad, but I also want to give you guys leave you with some resources. We talked a little bit about community engagement, and community engagement is the community, the resources, and we talked a little bit about that because everything builds on the child. It provides and promotes positive change, and it helps the families to have a voice. Like you all are, like you guys also have the ability to be a part of community to either to advocate or volunteer. So there's so many ways that you can be involved in the community. I love the community engagement part because again, that helped my families. One of the when I think about community engagement, the CBO that supported me in my education journey was a nonprofit organization called New Life, faith-based, that helped me to understand that, how much God loves me. And that helped me to change and grow, where I learned about love, true love, and how much God had this plan for me. At an early age, in middle school, I was out there, telling kids like, we gotta get saved. But it was also gave me that foundation. That's what community CBOs and organization does. And I'm excited, and my sister is here. Part of the work we mentioned in my bio that, that I am co-owner of a community-based organization. And I love the work that we do in the Bronx because we really foster and inspire young children as early as kindergarten, and sometimes we have pre-K, to reach their full potential. So community engagement is so critical to a child's education and the well-being. They also support a lot of different ways. So we're gonna go to the next slide, where I'm gonna talk a little bit about New York. I know there's a few of us here, but shout out to the way New York does parent engagement. And some of I'm not sure in other states we're so different, but these are ways that you can get involved at your school. And again, it's not about your time and your commitment at the school, those one-off, those PTA. And I believe that we shared a lot of ways that we can support learning at home. It's really about understanding how do you advocate for your children's education. And then there's other ways, like if you want to go a step, we call it the ladder of engagement. If you want to step up the ladder and you say, you know what, I want to join a parent organization, you can do that. That's called the parent governance structure, where you're helping the schools support your school leadership team, the academics, your social and emotional learning. I believe Chastity can share a little bit about that because I'm learning so much. Like learning Chastity is getting involved in sort of the parent governance structure of the school. There's also ways that you can volunteer in the classroom, that schools love it. So you can also volunteer. And then lastly, we have so parent teacher conference, PTAs, parent organizations, volunteer in the classrooms. But I want to show a really quick video on how New York City, if you're in New York City, a lot of people don't know this, but there are parent coordinators that are dedicated. They are liaisons to help you that we call the trusted messengers, where we believe that parent coordinators provide that space for parents to feel well. My parents, unfortunately, they didn't have that space. They were intimidated by the PTA, but we're trying to break that because it's not about a group, right? It's about everyone working together. So here's how New York City engages parents.
I want my child to be happy and successful in school, but my child can't do it alone.
Luckily, here in New York City, there are all kinds of resources to help me help him. Did you know that the New York City Department of Education offers translation and interpretation services, free after-school programs, and learning opportunities for parents? At schools.nyc.gov, you can also apply for travel assistance, free lunch, track your child's classroom progress, or check out the school district calendar. And that's just online. In school, you can find one of the best free resources of all, the Parent Coordinator. In the past, I wasn't sure how to get more information about school policies or events or how to get more involved as a parent. So I was excited to learn that every elementary school in New York City has a point person that can help. Parent Coordinator helps me to get what I need to make sure my child gets the education he deserves. Your school's Parent Coordinator can do the same for you. Find out who the Parent Coordinator at your child's school is and learn more about free resources at schools.nyc.gov.
So guys, this is the way New York City does parent engagement and how we are committed to ensuring that parents' voices are part of our structure, how we're inviting parents to the space. And again, I am here, my mission is to ensure that every parent feels that their voice is that matters and that they feel equally important as any educator in the room, because again, you are your children's learning hero. And then my last slide, because I gotta leave you guys here with some goodies, is that there's online resources when we mention the ways that we are connecting with our families. There's this cool resource that's called Dear Teacher. So if you are an educator and you want to use this for your parents during parent-teacher conference, whether you're a school counselor or school support staff or a teacher, this is a really, really cool tool that really shows, and I'll go in here, it's called Dear Teacher. I love this because actually I'm wondering, let's do it together. How about that? Do we have time? I'm sorry, I'm gonna do a time check. Do we have time? Thumbs up.
We're a little over.
Oh, we're over.
8:15.
So I'm gonna just show you the tool, but this is a really good tool to in the beginning of the school year. This is pretty much a Dear Teacher. So you're telling the teacher, and then you can actually write here, like you could put the date. So you say, Dear Miss Rodriguez, your child's teacher. And it's an editable form, and it tells exactly, you're telling the teacher what is exciting about your child, what their favorite activity is, how your child loves to spend time. So is this a sort of, you're introducing your family to the teacher, like what is the strength? But what I love about this is like, last year I noticed that my child improved in whatever the subject, they need support. So recognizing your child's weakness, the strengths, and then some of the goals that you have for this year. So the expectation is in the beginning. These are some of the goals. And then you're letting the teacher know how the teacher can reach you. And I love this part, together with you, right? Again, together with you, I look forward to supporting my child, David Rodriguez, in the school year. Thank you. When you fill this out, I love this tool because you can actually download it and you can hand it, you can email it, you can download it. It's called the Dear Teacher tool. As a follow-up, you guys will probably we'll send it as a link. And then the last thing that I want to sort of share is also some free games. It's called Cyber Chase, and this supports math at home. It's in different languages. Here's some really cool resources from Learning Hero. They have really cool data for educators. They have like a whole educator sort of toolkit on how to really build authentic partnerships with families. And I always love to mention Common Sense Media. They actually have so many different tools. And like, you ever wonder, is this appropriate for my child to look at, like either a movie or a video game or a book? They do all the research for you. They let you know, they're sort of like the researchers, and they know exactly what's appropriate and what's not appropriate for your child. So that's a little bit of goodies. I wanted to share that. And I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you so much for the chat. Thank you for sharing your expertise on how you're supporting learning at home, because again, I'm not the expert, you are. And I just want to make sure that you all leave here feeling like, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to not only, because we talked about community, for those parents that feel that they feel a little bit like, well, I don't know how to be involved, just give them that tip that I mentioned today, that their voice is, they don't need to be an educator. They don't need to know, what are some of the things I don't even know now what kids are learning. That's not important. It's just a simple having a conversation, checking on your child's wellness, having fun activities, walking down the road and counting the stars or the cards. Everything you do with your child can contribute to their education. Setting proper routines, that's really important. I think if the educators in the room, just making sure that child's going to sleep on time and reading every day, that's huge. With that, thank you so much, S.O.A.R. Thank you so much, Tiana, my co-host. Thank you guys, and I'm out.
Wow.
Make sure you guys
Thank
support.
you, Carrie. Thank you so much. Truly, this was great. This communication was so great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Took away some good information. I hope everyone else did. Great engagement, great talk. And thank you everyone for joining. We have our CEO who's available. So if she would like to get on and say something really quickly before we end.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm super apologetic for my tardiness. I had a prior engagement that I learned about just late last week, and so I had to attend to that. But I am here, and I was able to hop on in just enough time to hear some of the goodness that Miss Derry Rodriguez had to bring to the table. I know she has a wealth of knowledge, and she comes with a great level of expertise. And so I was super excited to have her on the line. Not to mention she is my best friend. So she comes highly recommended. So unfortunately I missed the bulk of it, but I do see that it's recorded. So I am excited to go back and revisit everything that was covered in tonight's series or seminar. So thank you so much, Derry Rodriguez, for your time. And for presenting tonight on the importance of parent and community engagement, or community and parent engagement, family engagement, family engagement. I do know that it is absolutely important, to strengthen our communities, to strengthen our kids, to empower them. Like, it really does start at home. The parents, and I'm sure I don't want to regurgitate anything that you've said, but we can't expect to go out and send our kids out into the world and just have the teachers and the administrative staff and the counselors take on the burden of raising our kids for us, right? It has to start at home. And so I'm very excited that we have people like you in our corner to help educate us on how to do that better. As a first time, second time mom, but a fairly new mommy. I'm learning every day. So these types of tools and resources that you have given us and made available to us are very, very necessary. And it really does help us, help to empower us as parents to then help to empower our kids. So thank you for that. I appreciate it so much. My best friend is dope, y'all. So just for the little bit I did hear, she's awesome as usual. And I don't know if you all announced the winners for this evening, or if you guys had you had the icebreaker, I'm sure, and I don't how you guys want to handle that, but I just want to say good evening to everyone, and thank you so much for attending. And we appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you to our awesome team for always being there, ready. Tiana, yes, just killing it today in your blazer. I love it, or whatever that is that you got on. You look cute. So I appreciate you both so much for all the hard work and the dedication. They really were working hard behind the scenes, putting this whole this platform together. So I want to just say kudos to them for a job well done. Tiana and to Derry, once again, thank you all so much for the effort that it takes to really put these types of things together. We appreciate it. And then to our team, thank you so much. And to everyone else on the line, thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Derry, for your time and your resources. It was great working with you, partnering with you. We do have 2 winners. The first one is Nisi, if she's still on the line. She's one of our winners because she was the first to join the call. Yay. So thank you, Nisi. We will be in touch with you. If you could drop your email in the chat.
It
And
should
then
be
we'll,
on the registration too. She
okay, we'll
registered.
get it off the registration. All right. So, and our second winner is for most engaged. And we're going to give that to our Miss Adrienne Ortiz. Yay! Thank you, Adrienne, for participating and joining in the conversation with us. And we just want to give you a thanks. So we'll get that gift card to you as well. And just thank you everyone for your time and being on the line with us. And if there's nothing further, have a great night.
Congratulations, Janice and Adrienne.
Thank you. It was
Look
a
out for your gift
pleasure.
cards. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations,
Thank
Adrienne.
you.
Have a good
Thank
evening,
you.
everyone.
Congrats. Have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Have a
You
great
guys
evening.
have
Thanks,
a great
everybody.
one.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.